Welcome to the Serenity Wealth Now Show with Chris Cooper. This is not your typical financial show. As a CPA, licensed insurance agent, and investment advisor, Chris brings the financial conversation to life, where the numbers really matter. Every week, Chris sits down with someone from the community to find the financial lessons hiding in their story. Now, here's your financial friend, Chris Cooper.
All right. Good morning. Happy Memorial Day weekend out there. It's a special weekend. It's, the unofficial start to summer. We need to also think about what this is all about. Memorial Day is about remembrance. It's about remembering the ultimate price people pay for the freedoms we enjoy. Freedom is not free in this country, and we take it for granted. And so take a step back, little moment of silence, and understand and appreciate the sacrifice people made to enjoy the freedoms you have today. So we are going to spend some time today talking about something very exciting coming to St. Louis, and that is the St. Louis Air Show. And because it's Memorial Day weekend, we need to spend some time giving tribute to our service members as well. So I have wonderful guests in with me today, Garrett the Kasper, or Garrett Kasper, the Ghost. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
For those that do not know who the ghost Kasper is here, we're not talking about your friendly neighborhood ghost that we've thought about on cartoons. This is a blue angel in the studio with me today. So I'm a little excited, guys. I'm kind of giddy right now. So
well, you should be.
I should be. I mean, you're not going to take me up on any airplanes or anything because I will throw up, so you know.
No, we'll prevent that from happening.
So you are officially a Blue Angel, which is awesome.
An ex-Blue Angel. Yes.
Yeah. Well, ex-Blue Angel.
20 years and probably as many pounds ago.
But you have the flight suit. You've been in the flight suit.
Yeah.
You've still got this cool Blue Angels polo on here. With I don't have my name embroidered on my polo with a Blue Angels insignia. So.
Well, we have a saying on the team, and it goes back probably since 1946 when they started, and that's once a Blue Angel, always a Blue Angel.
I like it.
Even though you leave the team, you still stay involved in your community, help out where you can, and share the message about the Navy and the Marine Corps and life in service.
I love it. Well, and it's funny because when you said that we have a saying, I'm like, don't tell me it's once a Blue Angel, always a Blue Angel, because it's super cool. I'm like, it was. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so thanks for coming in, spending a little bit of time. Let's talk a little bit about the Blue Angels and the St. Louis Air Show, because it is a few weeks away. And still, for those that don't have plans, still time to make plans.
Yeah, I would say hurry up and buy your tickets now.
Yeah.
You can get them online. Kids under 12 are free. Uniformed members are free.
Yeah.
You still need to go online and print out a ticket for them. But tickets are going fast. All the chalets are already sold out. So we know this is going to be a big show this year, not because it's just the Blue Angels, but we also have our guests from up north, the Canadian Snowbirds there.
Yeah.
It's one of the rare U.S. shows they're doing this year in honor of America's 250th. So come on out and see it.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing I should have mentioned. 250 years celebrating this year. Amazing. A lot to think about.
Yeah. And when you think about it, the Navy and Marine Corps, Army, they all started before country was founded officially. So
right.
We're a little bit older than them. So this is also the Navy's 250th birthday and the Blue Angels 80th anniversary. So I was on the 20 years ago, I was on the 60th team.
Yeah.
This is the 80th year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are they doing anything like super cool for the 250th year, or, and we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah. I think, the announcements will reference Freedom 250, which is the Navy's motto. They'll also touch on the legacy of the Blue Angels and their 80 years of flying. Maybe because it's a special season, they'll break out the gold flight suits on Sunday. So that's kind of an homage to the original flight teams.
That's
used
awesome.
To wear yellow.
Very cool. Well, if you don't know the Blue Angels, I don't know where you've been, quite frankly, because I think everyone knows the Blue Angels, right? So talk to me, because I think we talked a little bit off air. You always wanted to be a Blue Angel.
I did. Yeah. I saw them when I was 5 years old, and I pointed to the sky and I said, I'm going to do that. Yeah. And, lo and behold, I got good grades. I pushed myself in high school. I got a ROTC contract.
Yeah.
I actually went, my goal was to get in the Naval Academy.
Okay.
I toured it. I had my nomination letter. I was all set to go. And then I toured the place and I realized I'll be here 3, maybe 4 days. This is not me.
Yeah.
But I went to Marquette University. I was just there a couple weeks ago for a reunion weekend. And I tell you what, it was a great choice. It was like the SLU of Milwaukee, right?
Okay.
Fine Jesuit institution up there. And, I graduated at the same time I would have if I had gone to the academy. I wanted to fly jets. The Navy said, cool. So does everybody else. We can only pick 2 of you in this graduating class to go fly airplanes. I was not one of them. So I had my choice of driving ships or driving ships.
Okay.
So I drove ships.
That makes sense. Option B.
Option B. It's the Navy. Somebody's got to drive the boats.
Yeah. Well, it is. Like you said, it's the Navy. Yeah. That's kind of what they do.
So I did Aegis guided missile cruisers for 2 years. Did, at least one med tour with them.
Okay.
Had a ball, but I realized public affairs is my calling. That's what I have my degree in. And I didn't realize at the time that one of the specialties you could get selected for if you want to change designators is to go into public affairs. And so that's what I did.
Okay.
I applied a couple, 2-3 times. It's not easy to get into because there's only roughly 200 spokespeople for the Navy on active duty at any given time.
Yeah.
That's a very, very tight cadre of people who, they want to make sure people are articulate and speak well and write well and have the right skills and education.
You're representing the branch, the Navy
exactly
of our country.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. So I went to the Defense Information School and said, okay, well, drove ships. Now I'm a PAO. But the Blue Angel thing was always still on the back burner.
Well,
So it wasn't until I was in the middle of Operation Iraqi Freedom in Bahrain and that night of shock and awe that everybody remembers. I remember taking a step out of the Admiral's office and I met the new flag aide and he had a Blue Angel model on his jet, on his desk of a jet. And I said, wow, where'd you get that? He's like, oh, I just came from the team. That was my farewell gift.
Wow.
Yeah, I would really love to be a Blue Angel, but I can't fly. And it's like, that's ridiculous. They have a ton of support officers. You've got the C-130 pilots, you've got a doc, you've got an admin officer, a supply officer, and this year they're hiring a public affairs officer for next season. You should talk to the boss. I think he'd support you getting a package in.
Wow.
So I applied and long story short version, I got picked.
And now your 5-year-old self can be like, look at this.
I did it.
Yes, in your face, 5-year-old self.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and I think most people, when you watch these air shows, and you can, this is what I love about the St. Louis Air Show. It's got Patriots Landing, it's got a STEM Expo. There's so much exposure, so that maybe flying isn't your jam. Everybody thinks they want to be a pilot, but you can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be a public affairs specialist, you can be an aviation electronics person, you can work on the ejection seats. You can, there's at least 100 jobs in the Navy alone that you pick. Different career fields. So this is just that first step to be inspired, right? That's really what it's all about. And it goes all the way back to 1946 when that first team flew, post World War II, what happened? The Army Air Corps became the Air Force and they got all the credit for World War II. And we're like, there was that whole Midway thing, where
remember that?
We completely turned the tide of the war in the Pacific. Couldn't have done that without naval aviation. Right. So that was where it started. It really was a public relations machine to go travel the country and show America that, yes, your Navy is also pretty good at this flying thing. And by the way, we do it off of boats. Yeah. Right. So that was really where it started. And along the way, we realized, wow, this is a great recruiting tool. We started inspiring kids all over the country to want to be able to serve. Sure. So the recruiters will be there. It's a great opportunity to come out and see pilots in their static aircraft. We have the Warbirds. I really love those. And you touched on Memorial Day. I think the highlight of these air shows are the honor flights. Oh yeah, where they're going to take an F-22 and an old Mustang and fly them together. And so you have the past, present, and future of aircraft flying together. In formation. It's really touching. Really neat to see. Really neat to see. So when you mentioned, like, as a kid, you get inspired by, being a pilot and all that kind of stuff. I can tell you, I've watched Top Gun. I am not one that can be a pilot, dude. It wouldn't work. I can't do it. I couldn't handle it. I can't go on a roller coaster, bud. It's not for everyone. I wouldn't think so. Now, you've been up there, though. I have, a number of times. Yeah. That was, again, another perk of the job. Yeah. We have a 2-seater in the demo. Fun story. Put a pin in that. All right. Back to it. If there was an availability to go flying and they said, hey, Ghost, you want to go fly? I'm like, yeah, the answer is always yes. And I'm going to grab a camera and we're going to go flying and I'm going to take pictures and try not to throw up all over myself. Because again, not a pilot, but Did you throw up on yourself? Because I throw up on myself on like Space Mountain, dude. So I'd be in trouble. My first flight in the Hornet, I got a little queasy. and I threw up.
Ugh.
But that I only found out later because that was just a one jet, just kind of a break-in flight.
Okay.
And they bent the jet to make me throw up. Like they were not landing that aircraft. And I was like, let's do it again. And we finally kept going long enough. And I finally, but it was a pride thing.
So it was like they're going to break you. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I crawled out of that jet. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. And then the next day, like, you want to go flying? Yeah, I do.
Oh man.
So, once in a lifetime opportunity. And flying in Fat Albert. Bert's not on the show this year. It's getting an overhaul, but taking those JATO takeoffs with the rockets when they used to have those, fantastic. But pulling the pin out, there's a Blue Angel FA-18 at the St. Louis Science Center right in front of the planetarium.
Yep.
I may or may not have had something to do with that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's, is it 191746 is the number on the tail. That was the 2-seater that was on the team when I was there.
Wow.
And I used to fly in that jet.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So
so all inverted and everything, huh?
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Were you keeping up with communications?
Yeah. Well, back in the day, I mean, good gravy. That was 20 years ago. We didn't even have social media then.
Yeah.
So it was very.
I couldn't imagine being, first of all, going that fast in a jet for sure, and then doing just all that force. It would be a real problem for me.
Here's how I liken it, and the pilots are great because they do this day in and day out. Now, ordinarily, you'll be wearing a G suit in a fighter aircraft, and that's plugged into the computer. So when you're dogfighting, it's very unpredictable, and those bladders will fill up, and that's not going to completely keep you from passing out. You still have to work. You still have to squeeze your calves and your glutes and your butt, and you're bearing down. You're breathing. You're trying to keep that blood up.
Okay.
Right. So it's like giant blood pressure cuffs on your calves, and your legs, and your waist. Is it foolproof? No, but it's designed to help you as the operator of that aircraft know, like, oh, okay, if this is inflating, I've got to work with it.
Right.
Well, Blue Angels don't fly with them.
Okay.
And the reason is that they rest their arm. That there's a tension spring they put on the control stick in that aircraft. And it's to the tune of 40 pounds of false feel. So when you're inverted, it's almost like taking the power steering off your car, right? Any tiny little movement matters greatly.
Yeah.
But they use their arm. So imagine having a 40-pound dumbbell and doing curls in the cockpit for 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's
going really fast. Right next to your friends.
So behind the crowd, you're shaking it out, but you're still, so in the maneuver, if those G's, as you're pulling up and you're getting in the positive G, and then you get to the zero at the top, and then you're pulling positive on the back end, your air bladders would inflate on your legs, which would move your hand, move the input, and now the jets are going to be all over the place. So the Blue Angel demo, I can still trace it to this day. It's the same. It's an invisible roller coaster track, right? They know when the G's are coming on. They know when the G's are coming off, coming on again. Especially the solos, they're pushing 7.5 G's,
and it's time to a T, and it has to be
exactly right. So they know exactly. There's nothing really unpredictable.
Right.
They're ready for it. They train for it. They work out pretty much every day.
Yeah.
So they're in great physical shape. And then that's really what keeps them safe.
It's amazing. So we've got the St. Louis Air Show coming up here in a couple of weeks. Blue Angels are every other year roughly is a kind of.
It's not guaranteed.
Okay.
Every year, back in my day, it was, like I said, it was a taffy pulling contest when you try to schedule out 35 air shows. They actually schedule 2 years out now. Because it helps the air show sites prepare.
Sure.
But you have the number one thing you look at is, okay, well, where do we have to go? Right. Yeah. There's San Francisco, Chicago, Seattle. There's all the must-do shows that Big Navy wants you to do. And then there's some that we alternate with the other team from the Air Force. Those guys. Yeah,
we don't need to talk about them.
The Thunderbirds. No, they're great. They're always good friends and good sports. So we alternate. Chicago's a great example. Even years are, I think, the Thunderbirds, but odd years are the Blue Angels, right? And so then after you go, okay, well, where's Navy having their Navy weeks this year, Fleet Weeks? Okay, well,
because you kind of have to go to those.
Have to go. And then you get about maybe 8 to 10 discretionary shows every year the team really wants to pick and they try to go to. But, you always got to give it to the local Congress people, and everybody's got to buy off on it. Like, oh, we didn't get the Blue Angels in 15 years, and now it becomes an issue.
All the politics stuff comes in.
So there's always this. So when you get a jet demonstration team, whether it's the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds, that is a big deal.
Yeah.
Right? Air shows hang their hats on if they get a team or not, because that's going to be make or break for them.
Sure.
So in this case, I'll say that one of the things that's really unique about the St. Louis Air Show, being the Show Me State, a lot of members from ICAST come out, International Council of Air Shows.
Okay.
I think, what the heck are you people doing in St. Louis?
Yeah.
You keep getting the Blue Angels every 2 years, and now you got the Snowbirds this year. And, the reality is that it comes down to the amount of volunteerism, right? It's that spirit of St. Louis that you see, that we have almost 1,000 people that come out to help park cars and flip burgers and do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And it's that hospitality and a well-orchestrated, well-organized, professional.
It's an amazing
show. Yeah.
It really is. Great area. Perfect place for a perfect location, everything.
Exactly. So when teams come back and do their after-action report, like, this was a great show, this is why, and the people were wonderful, and we didn't have to ask for anything. Like, it was already taken care of before we even thought of it. Even down to, what time the sandwiches show up before the brief.
Mm-hmm.
Little things like that matter great.
And the pilots feel this.
Oh, 100%.
So that's cool for the St. Louis crowd to hear, right? Because we don't always get that insider scoop that with our participation shows with the people that put on these shows, and then they want to come back.
Exactly. When they want to come back, then that makes that selection process a lot easier, right? And so, it's a really unique process. It's painful. It's
a lot of work to put it on, I'm sure.
It is.
Yeah.
And putting a show on, again, this isn't something you let a bunch of rookies do. These are seasoned people.
Oh, yeah.
Folks who have been doing this for years and years and years and years. And I think, in fact, Mark Sutherland and I thought, we've done 4 together. And he's like, I think this is our 7th. Like, wow, we've been doing this a while.
Yeah.
So,
he's a busy guy working on all this right now. So the new tourism commissioner for the state of Missouri too.
That's fantastic.
All over the place with this guy.
Yeah.
So, but this is a big one. So we're excited to be a part of it too, and get to join in on the fun too. It's going to be a good show. So
it's going to be a great show.
All going to be out there. Yeah. So hopefully the weather continues to be a good thing for us. So.
Out of our control, but we've called the chaplain and we've asked a few favors. So
well, good. We need that. Keep that up. And all right. So let's talk about your career. So you've got, are you 30 years now?
Yeah. Yesterday was my 30th anniversary.
Wow. And you're retiring now as well.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Congratulations.
That'll be June 1st will be my official last day.
All right. So I'm going to take you way back though to the beginning here, because it's great. We get to talk. We'll talk a little bit about, retirement from the Navy. That's always great. But before we go there, got to have the nostalgia moment, right? So you always get a call sign.
Not always.
No, you don't always?
Not always.
So when do you get a call sign?
When you do something fantastically stupid.
Well, but so you're saying like a pilot doesn't always have a call sign, or no, they just always do something fantastically stupid?
Pilots will always have a call sign.
Okay.
That is a legacy that goes back.
Got it.
Until I think the first airplane they built, somebody got a call sign. Right?
Okay.
That's really popular in the aviation communities. Other communities, not so much.
Okay.
So in my case, like I said, I was a ship driver. Did I have a call sign when I was a ship driver? No, it was, hey, ensign, or hey, lieutenant junior grade, come here. When I got to the aircraft carrier, that's when I got my call sign. So it's, again, aviation based. I was the public affairs officer on USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. And one day the captain was in the hangar bay and he's like, hey, Ghost, come here. Do you have a call sign yet? And then I realized at that moment that the Kasper, the friendly jokes from kindergarten have not stopped. And I said, well, I guess I do now, right, sir?
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he nodded. And being the snarky young lieutenant that I was, I said, it's because I'm short, white, and friendly, right, boss? And he shook his head and he's like, no, Lieutenant, no. It's because every time I look for you, you find some creative new way to disappear.
Nice.
So I guess I was ghosting people before it was fashionable.
Yeah, right now it's cool.
That's
it's the thing. It's in trend.
Yeah, it's stupid.
You could go viral, you know?
But it's not a good trend.
Well, it does work though. Garrett the Ghost Kasper. Like it's kind of perfect. It really flows.
I have given people plenty of ammunition for dumb things that I've done that could have gotten me a call sign, but didn't. So ghost works.
Well, if ghosting in the Navy, the worst thing you get out of it is a call sign and not like a court martial, you're doing okay.
Yeah.
You might be pushing the envelope, but you're not breaking through.
That's exactly it. And there's always, some irreverent humor, but there's almost every call sign has a fun backstory. Some you can figure out pretty reasonably. But I'll tell you right now, like there's people you could put in a lineup in front of me. I couldn't tell you their first or last name, but I'll tell you that's Booger, that's Snort, that's Chewy, that's, you just know that you know them by their call sign. It precedes them. And it's just, fun.
And it home life too? Or no, does it end there? Does that, when the call sign goes, it's only for at work?
It's generally a work thing, but one of my daughters has a ghost tattoo.
Nice. Well, that makes that's cool.
I couldn't be that mad at her for getting a tattoo if it was to honor my call sign. So
that's pretty neat. That's pretty fun. So you've been 30 years in the Navy now. Congratulations. And obviously thank you for your service as well, because it's a big deal. 30 years in any branch of government, serving our government is amazing. Serving our country is amazing. And doing it in harm's way is not always easy either.
No, that part's not so much.
No, but thank you so much for being a part of that. So what's been the highlight of your 30-year Navy career? Obviously the Blue Angels, I would think, because that was your childhood dream. But.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to top that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's such a unique operation to be a part of, right?
Yeah.
Like there's really very, very few organizations that actually have job interviews in the military. You're usually given orders, right? Not invitations, orders. In this case, you get picked because there's, you can be the best pilot in the world, but if you just don't have the people skills to match,
right?
Same thing with the public affairs officer, the doctor, the admin officer. Everybody's got a gel. We're on the road 300 days a year for 300, or for in my case, 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
That becomes your family.
And you don't think about that. That's pretty tough too.
It's like a deployment. And it's weird because on a deployment, when you go away for 6, 9, 12 months, you go and then you come home and dad's home and it's all happy. But the up and down, dad's home, dad's not home, dad's gone for 2 weeks, dad's back for 1 day, dad's gone for another week, dad's
right.
It's that part was challenging.
Sure.
I'll admit. But again, it was such a rare and unique opportunity to be able to be a part of that and to continue being a part of it today with the Blue Angel Alumni Association and working with them. And Blue Angel Foundation is another great organization too that helps wounded warriors. So again, once a Blue Angel, always a Blue Angel. We don't just kind of hang up our flight suits and leave. We try to give back to the community. And so if anybody wants to see my old flight suit, it's actually just up the road in O'Fallon at the Mid-America Veterans Museum.
Love it.
And you can see it there.
That's fantastic.
I couldn't fit in it today if I tried. It was tight then. And
you don't have to tell people that.
No, it's true.
You could get there. Mm-hmm. You don't want to. I mean, it requires effort, but
so there's, I'll tell you, I'll let you in on a little naval history and tradition.
Okay.
So at my upcoming retirement ceremony, we have things called side boys. And in a formal military setting, depending on your rank, determines how many side boys you get and how many bells are rung.
Sure.
So this goes all the way back to the 1700s because back in the day, the longer you were in, the more senior you were, the more money you had. The more money you had, the more food and port wine you could drink. Therefore, the more senior admirals were a little girthier and needed help getting on the ship.
There you go.
So they would call, in the case of a captain, 4 over and 4 strong, strongbacks to come and pull them up, and they would ring 4 bells, and that was their cue. Okay, we need 4 guys to pull this captain on board our ship. But you get to be a 1 or 2 star, you get 6, and if you're a 3 or 4 star, you get 8. And so 8 bells, and so that was kind of the custom. So at my retirement ceremony, I'll get 4 bells, and Captain, United States Navy arriving, and 4 sailors, 2 on each side, will salute me as I walk in. So nobody's lifting me or hoisting me in. Thankfully, because that would look really weird. And then the admiral who's coming to visit, who's just a fantastic leader, he's a 3 star, so he'll get 8 bells and 8 side boys.
Amazing.
And it's a lot more ceremonial now, but it goes back to that whole concept and idea of the more senior you were, the more portly you were. That was just how it was back then. They didn't have fitness standards.
Yeah. So 30 years in the Navy, career. Obviously. Now you've been in the reserves as well.
I have, So kind of a blend. I did 12 years active duty. So I did media relations in Kosovo, Afghanistan, Iraq, lived in Bahrain. In fact, my youngest was born in Bahrain during a war. Don't recommend. It's kind of hot out there.
Yeah.
Little sporty. Having a baby overseas in combat zone. got the Blue Angel tour. And then after that, it was, like I said, 3 years on the road, 300 days a year.
Yeah.
2 years in the Middle East, 2 years on an aircraft carrier. It stacked up. I wasn't home a lot.
Sure.
So moved to St. Louis, St. Peter's, raised kids, and left active duty one day and joined the reserves the next.
There you go.
And so I've had a number of great assignments in Japan. I've been at Transcom over the river there in Illinois for quite a few years. I did get deployed, went back to Bahrain once, and I got sent to Guantanamo Bay for an entire year.
Wow.
So I like to say it was an island community that was gated. It sounds nice, but it was a long year. It was like right during COVID, and it was a challenge. But that's what happens when you're a reservist. You can get called at any time, and they needed somebody with my skills to go over there and do that job. So being the head PR person for Gitmo, again, it's kind of like the flying bit. It's not for everybody.
Well, that's a lot of travel. You've seen a lot of different places, served the country along the way as well. So it's got to be proud of being part of that, right? Yeah. So what does retirement look like for a retired naval officer?
In my case, I already have a civilian job.
Yeah.
So I'm the vice president of communications and marketing for a company called Swarmer. So we make drone autonomy software, headquartered out of Austin, but we have offices all over Europe, including Kyiv.
That's pretty cool.
We support a lot of Ukrainian operations with their drone software. So I love that. That's what I've been doing for the last few years in a variety of capacities for defense and intelligence. So I've worked at NGA, I've worked at Boeing, I've worked at another L3 Harris, for example. So defense communications and corporate communications has been my specialty as a civilian. So I'm going to continue to do that.
Keep doing that
until I can retire. But it'll be nice to have the two sources of income as a retiree.
Which is uncommon, right? Pensions don't necessarily exist in today's world. We got moved into the 401k environment, and which isn't a bad thing. It's portable. Not many people have a 30-year career in one location. In one place.
No, and I'll say this. If anybody's thinking about it, being a reservist, I highly suggest it.
Yeah.
Right, and here's why. So you get veterans benefits. You can get a VA home loan, right? I just bought a house here locally a year ago, almost this week. Zero money down, right? You can do that. And there's companies like Veterans United that help rally around you to get the best VA loan, right? So your healthcare, GI Bill.
Great healthcare.
2 kids through college with my GI Bill benefits. All things that are just... You don't always see it up front when you're doing the job.
Well, we all talk about how expensive college education is, but we don't think about alternative approaches to having that funded. Right. I talk a lot about the A+ program, which is a great program.
That's awesome.
Love that program. People should take advantage of that. But there's also serve your country, and you can have some of that.
Right. There's plenty of alternatives. But the GI Bill is great, especially the post 9/11, because it's not just for you. You can set it up for any of your dependents and break it apart. So like I said, I split 50-50, both of my daughters, and they've used it. And whatever's left over, that's on them to get a college loan and pay the rest. But again, you
the big chunk though,
still less than the cost of a car.
Absolutely,
to get a full college education, right?
Yeah.
So that's huge. And I think too that, it's the pride and satisfaction of knowing that I did something. I served my country. I was only going to do it, pay for ROTC, pay for my 4 years of college, and I was going to be done. And here we are 30 years later.
Fulfilling a childhood dream with a call sign and all.
But you know what happens when you get laid off at your corporate job?
Yeah.
It's that really sucky feeling of, oh God, I got to find another job. And how do I pay for this? And how do I pay for that? Oh, wait. Pick up the phone. Hey, you got any orders short term? I need something like 3 months.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you they'll find something for you. You go back on active duty. Now you got your healthcare turned back on. Now you got 3 months to find a job. You got income, maybe 6 if you need it. And then when you're looking for a job and you find a good fit, you take the job and think, oh, well, how come you've been out? Oh, I got deployed. I took some orders.
Yeah. Well, you learn some great life lessons along the way too.
Yeah. So it's nice to have that parachute on your back.
Absolutely.
In case you get laid off, because it happened to me 3 times in my career. So not great, not a great feeling, but
it's not.
But it's nice to know that, you're covered.
I love that. Yeah, no, it makes sense. And people don't think about that kind of stuff. And there's not a lot of pensions out there. So it's an important thing to consider when when we think about it. And plus, you can do a lot of cool things. Like everyone talks about when you want to retire, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to travel more. Well, you can do that.
Absolutely.
And get paid to do that too.
Paid. Yeah.
Right? You put yourself in danger at times, so you have to understand that too. But you're serving a great cause as well, and that's important, folks. June 6th, 7th, right around the corner, St. Louis Air Show. If you weren't excited before, I mean, you have to be now. We just heard from a 30-year career officer in the Navy, about to retire. Retirement party coming up here. We got the St. Louis Air Show coming up on the first weekend in June. Holy cow! What a great time to think about this stuff and get those plans aligned. Blue Angels are pretty impressive. And the formations they go through are incredible. They are done with precision, perfectly timed, so close. It's crazy how close they can get. But these are not done by accident. It is very well trained team. They know what they're doing, and they predict things. They do it because they've done it a million times. That is what it's all about. They want to make sure that things go off without a hitch. They know that they're going to face those G-force and those headwinds, right? It is crazy. I can't imagine it. I would be a mess up there, right? That's why I stay in finances, right? I understand how to help people navigate the financial turmoils, understand the financial goals. When we get me up there like that, I'd be a mess. We're not going to put me up in that position. Leave that to the experts, right? That's what they do. We want to stay focused and understand what our lanes are. We got to make sure we have a plan for the financial markets as well, the turbulence that can come in that situation, because retirement is our real goal. Enjoying our life, that's our real goal. Leaving a legacy that does outlive us, that's important too. When you're ready to build yours, let's talk. Until then, follow us on Serenity Wealth Now socials for more insights, information, and a little fun with finance. We'll see you next week.
Serenity Now! Serenity Wealth Now can be found wherever you are at serenitywealthnow.com, on YouTube, Spotify, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and on News Talk STL Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. When you're ready for your own conversation, schedule some time with Chris by visiting serenitywealthnow.com. That's serenitywealthnow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors.